very shortly here for match number 5 of day 2 with group number 2. Will Team Liquid turn things around on Miramar? We are about to find out as we start to drop out.
Instantly, we will see Liquid out of the plane, boots on the ground, trying to get out early. The knock-on effect of Genesis being in their home turf on several maps here, it's definitely shown. It has to be said, this is one of the main reasons and main factors. It's not their individual ability, it's not their teamwork, it's not their communication. It's the fact that they have to reposition. They're playing a different game than what they normally would have to in the PEL. Their home turf has been removed from them. North America has definitely done its damage in the back.
Yeah, Lazarus as well, keeping an eye on them. Thought they were going to go Hacienda, potentially dropping on 4 AM. Maybe they've rethought this. 4 AM, as you said, and put it kindly, they're through already. They can kind of just mess around a little bit if they want to, but Lazarus, a lot to play for. I don't know if they would want to be hot dropping, and from the looks of it, they will not be contesting 4 AM.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way, all right? We've still got 2 games of Miramar to go. You have AHQ currently on 30 points. They're in 4th position. You run that all the way down to 13th, which would be Crow Crowd. They're literally 15 points, splits 4th and 13. It wouldn't be PUBG if we didn't have it in this scenario of a qualification process. Anything can happen. It will come down to the very final game of who we take through to the semi-finals, and unfortunately, who drops down to elimination.
Yeah, and I think you would probably find as well here at Miramar that it might start off slow. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see a very passive style coming out early on. You know, long-range encounters is obviously extremely common. The Balties have been also very common throughout PGC so far. You recall that Card 98 buffed on this patch, and we're seeing a lot more of it. But what a perfect map for it to be utilized.
Yeah, a slight nerf to the M24 and a slight damage increase on the Car 98. The level 2 helmets, they're no longer removed in PUBG, so they're not as impactful early game. You used to be able to just remove them from someone's scalp. And we've said before, it's not about necessarily the knocks when it comes to those. Yes, you can get a really good knock and it's good, but later on in the game, if you start removing utility from a team, you start taking away their helmets, you start taking away their chests, even forcing them to use their bandages, their meds that they've got for the later game, even to the point that you have to commit them to use smokes if they're coming out of the building. You can remove that from them. Well, people are still flying, but you know, nevertheless, hey, well, welcome to the party eventually. At least you get a bird's eye view of who else can. I mean, this could be a 9,000 IQ play for all I know, and he's just scouting later on to see who's coming this way. But nevertheless, with sniper rifles, there is a tremendous difference in which way you use it. SLRs, Mini 14s, the DMRs are still pound for pound 10 times better than a sniper rifle. But if you have someone like Drassel, who is going to hit the world every single time, you need to be a player that is going to hit the bullet time for time. Otherwise, you're a deficit to your team.
Well, we saw it actually on Sandhawk with Forever and that quick double tap with the Car 98 and how it can be so effective, but it's also sort of the backup to the DMR, like you're saying. If someone on your team's got a mini and you're starting to land those couple of shots, all it will then take is one faulty shot to land. As we do have our circle, it is on the eastern side of Miramar, favoring, I mean, Entis Force, QM are kind of around the center here, but it's that west side that is going to be quite heavy. The eastern side's probably going to be more open. If it does continue to shift, like Impala way, I think you could maybe find a couple of teams will sort of fat wrap either the south going out to the east, north going out to the east, whereas the west is where we're probably going to see a lot of congestion, maybe around like Minas Graveyard by the time we get to the end of phase 1.
We shouldn't see too many pull-ups. I wouldn't expect to see any really until around Circle 4, Circle 5 at least. It should be a nice, quiet and peaceful game. Generally, that's how Miramar will play out. You touched on the sniper rifles. You can get a scope, maybe go for those long-distance shots, but overall, if you're playing from the edge, you're just going to give away your positions. There's no real reason to do it. You might as well get a mini or an SLR if you want to run some 7.62 and wait until people scout a little bit closer. There's many open areas that you can take control of and essentially bottleneck teams. It's the one strong factor of Miramar and how good Miramar teams play this is they have a bottleneck and put a stopgap on where teams can rotate. You pick a spot that's a very open area that they have to transfer across. You either kill them as they go by or essentially kill them as they have to pull up because there's so many open areas. It can be treacherous. The whole land in itself. When it comes to vehicles, yes, we have had vehicle adjustments, better handling, more damage that can be taken, but still, the areas that you do have to go across, the Rocky Mountains, the rough hillsides, it can be a really, really sloppy rotations, and that only adds to the pressure if you have teams waiting and gatekeeping you on arrival.
Not too many teams probably want to be getting into a gatekeeping position this early on. It's either center or coming in late in terms of how the current map currently looks like. Nice headshot land from Gustav. It's been TSM's day, and when it's your day, it continues probably on all maps.
He's flipped that. That's I think that's 2 flips back to back, essentially.
Tires are going to be popped anyway, so he'll get punished for that. But Genesis do get to their position just near La Bendita. That's what Michael pulling up to the compounds just to the north. Just on the outskirts of La Bendita. It's a decent spot here for Genesis, and of course they're in 9th position right now, so don't want to be losing vehicles and having things go against them on Miramar, at least for match 5. You don't want to be going into that final game in a bottom 8 position with that added pressure.
Yeah, TSM probably were looking towards that one. It's not the, out of the 2 positions that you look between Genesis and TSM, it's not the best one for TSM, and maybe they go for the reposition. I'm already seeing Gustav looking elsewhere for the simple fact that you are at the foothills of the La Bendita crater, so people can lock you in, essentially. You are in a big open ball area, and you're not in the crater, but it's just as much because uphill, that's all it is. There's going to be towering buildings that are looking down upon you. A few of them, you know, few and far between, but still, it's not the best place that TSM want to be. They will go for a split, and they'll hold Genesis stopgap for them. Need to be careful coming off the main road. I'm already seeing SDV on transfer. ENF's also just kicking it in the distance. AHQ to their right-hand side. Teams yet to make an entry point on this one.
Whoa.
Sun Sisters all the way out in Pozo. And not only you making a bit of a noise there because you're seeing a crate drop in, but I'm sure it always makes you a little bit, you know, happy when you see your boys picking up something good.
I just feel like it's that sort of gun, regardless of who's picking up. On Miramar, it's a gift, and it's something that any team would certainly want to be picking up this early on the AWM. Team Liquid actually just north of Al-Azhar, pushing in for the long rotation. I would be surprised to see Liquid play it slower here. Try and just survive, look for position inside of the zone, maybe coming in late. Maybe try and play it more on their terms, starting fights, rotating in, rather than being pushed on.
So remember, there is now a points game kind of in, you know, there's always a points game in PUBG, but we're coming down to a point where these are the last 2 games of today. It's only a best of 6. So for instance, the knock-on effects can be catastrophic. If TSM, for example, take out Genesis, that halts them in their position where they were. They were out of the top side of the top 8. And then Liquid will say, well, you know what, maybe we can capitalize on this. Maybe we can take full advantage, pick up some points, get a bit aggressive. But you touched on it perfectly. They are going to play slow. They are going to play passive. I just hope they don't play scared, because other teams will pick up on that. And you think, you know what? If they're just cowering inside their little houses...
I don't think they play scared. I'd say I agree that passive and methodical, and just maybe change their approach up. Scared's a bit... probably not Liquid style.
No. But if other teams kind of feel that that's what they're doing,
yeah, that's
they think,
true.
You know what? Let's just get stuck in, and then you're like, oh God, there's people knocking at my door. Where do we go? What do we do? They'll, for now, take the Eastern Coastal Road. I believe they're just lingering on the outskirts of Al-Azhar. There are 2 players. James is miles away out in the blue, to be fair. It's going to be a slow one.
I mean, Liquid have got to be smart enough that they look at 8th position as that gatekeeping spot. It's Sun Sister right now, 22 points. That's only 14 points to gap if we're looking at the total rankings here. It's doable. That's a win and 4 kills, and you're tied.
That's the thing. You have to, it's not just the wins. Even if 2 wins will only still bag you 20 points. Yes, it'll throw you up there, but you're then relying on other people playing horrendously and doing bad.
Yes.
You are going to have to pick up some frags along the way. Circle's pretty kind to them. It'll be a clear northern area, so maybe they don't go too deep. They kick it where they are, take residency in a better position, maybe just somewhere with a bit more line of sight. Down south, though, oh, it's going to be messy.
Oh, Gustav pushing in past Milk. Milk landed quite a few shots. Gustav survives on the bike. He's able to get the first aid kit off now as he pushed into Minas Generales. Milk in a 1v1. He obviously gave away his position, and the rest of TSM are coming in pretty hot and heavy. AHQ will back him up at the warehouse, I believe, but it's a matter of, can TSM catch out Milk first? He's actually going to run back towards CC. That's a smart play. I think he realized he had his opportunity, didn't quite capitalize, and now makes a run for it.
Gotta be careful they don't run into the open arms of 4 AM. I'm seeing him on the map kind of bouncing back and forth, a little bit undecisive here. It looks like they're going to regroup and maybe go towards the TSM. I think TSM have thought they've scared them off, so there's potential for a rude awakening. Take a bigger arms reach inside. SR and Leader just trying to find a better position. eyes on the prize directly in front.
Headshot.
The headshot's there. Gustav gets caught off guard. This is what I mean. I think.
Wow.
I generally think TSM thought they left. These two decided to run away, bait them out, and then fall back. And it's it's lost them a player, unfortunately.
I mean, TSM not sweating, 56 points, so they can afford to make mistakes. They can afford to live and let learn for these final two games of Miramar. And just Force, they're not safe, that's for sure. But Kale picking up the elimination onto Ragnar from W-Click. That will get them the early point. 2 early deaths now as Rory looking for revenge. The trade, CC. Oh, he actually is able to stand up there, and that gets the knockdown onto CC. Well played from Rory. Can he get the second? Has to reload. He's got Iroh for backup. The dynamic duo continue to dominate for TSM, and AHQ Esports Club are down to just Yan Lee and SR. They're sitting in 4th at the moment on 31 points. If they go out here with 0, they might just be a tiny, tiny bit nervous going into the final game. As Misa's eliminated for Crow Crowd, Profi for Genesis by ZGG. Michael and the rest of TSM take out SR. Only Yan Lee remains.
There's a bit of a knock-on effect here for Genesis. By taking that small fight, all right, you've killed one player, but now they're in a bottleneck. They're up against the white, and 4EM knows exactly where they are. They can hold them dead to rights. 4EM's in quite a wide split, so if one of them does go down, it would be treacherous to go for the res. So they might not push this aggressively and just be disciplined, sit back, watch it all unfold. They've got a good foothold here for the next circle pop wherever it goes. The Rumblers have just rumbled in and arrived on time. Clean entry point for them, took the full road straight through the middle. Luke 12 has just copped eyes on them. It's found a few shots, but they're all going to be safe. Don't worry about them for now. Liquid spread 2-1-1. Taking one of the main compounds, a small stop gap just to the right-hand side with Jempty, Sampty, and Jeems all on one. Sun Sisters are above them in the hills. Freak of Freaks all the way on the eastern side. They do have Detonator lurking behind them, and I don't think they have that level of information how close they are.
I think a Freak of Freaks, though, would be the team that could potentially pinch onto Team Liquid. If they keep pushing in towards Abiza's location, then Sun Sister, you can see it on the map, along with the Freak of Freaks, maybe even Athletico Junkyard, could actually pinch Team Liquid, and they might find themselves in a horrible position. But there's that circle for phase 3, goes back down south towards Rumblers. Lazarus as well in a decent position. Atletico are able to hold Junkyard for now. They're now on the north side of this circle. I think you probably stay here. Too risky to move, and while there are a lot of teams up north, they might be able to find a couple of knockdowns or kills in rotation. Liquid are going to have to move, and a Freak of Freaks might actually push down to Detonator, like you said before, just over North Impala.
Rumblers are in one of the strongest positions on this map right now. We get a lot of circle finishes because of how they do tend to now and again roll down the hillside. There's a bend in the road. It's quite open and brazen. I'm seeing TSM pulling up onto one of the members from AHQ. 4EM are also reading the same compound. They want to come closer to where the Rumblers position are. You'd expect a lot of people to start magnetizing towards that area. You've got all these really rough terrain areas. Some essentially where the circle just physically cannot go due to the terrain.
Ooh. Well played from Yan Lee, but that's all he's going to get, outnumbered.
See, I know it's easy in hindsight for us to say this, but small kind of clearing, so to speak, and working as a unit in rolling waves, not to get, and you can go for the refrag instantly rather than getting the flush. Yes, they pick up the point, because when you're alone, ranger like that, you are going to go for the insta-kill. You want that point. But now they lose one. Michael's down as well. 4EM actually might make an aggressive push on this. They'll have seen that one person's already fallen. They've got the knock. And honestly, they smell blood. They might just take this out, take the advantage, and really annihilate TSM.
It's not just to wipe out TSM, it's for the compound as well. So it's really 2 birds with 1 stone. Forever throws out the first nade. In fact, it's his only nade. 2 up. They got the revival of Michael. He's able to heal up too. Rory's playing pretty well. It's a 2 versus 4. Well, he's going to be tagged. It's actually third party. Lazarus and Rumblers shooting at TSM makes it very difficult, makes it even more easier for 4EM, and the Molotov is going to go inside. That's going to probably be more than enough to flush out Michael and Rory out to the back of this building. The nades are in, and it's going to get the knockdown onto Rory. Michael is low, and that will be the end of TSM. 15th position, but as we've kind of alluded to, they've done the job for the day.
Team Liquid. Slow and steady wins the race, but they've got to be careful. Detonator is on both sides of them. Wicked here, waiting to strike. Trigger discipline for now. 2-3 players go by. They leave James last man standing. Takes him out. Now he needs to turn on the rest of them. Will get the call for the rest of his teammates that he needs support.
Wow.
He's woken up the bear. The rest of them are here. There's only 2 players standing. And a Freak of Freaks from across. They will give support here. They'll be able to help them out, but Liquid once again in a very treacherous and sticky position.
You can almost count out Liquid in terms of avoiding the elimination stage if they do get eliminated right here, and you kind of feel like they're stuck in a hole. Jempty on 4 health is able to get off the first aid kit, but for how much longer are they going to be able to survive? Aqua 5, nice knockdown onto Shadow. It is a mess out to the east, and in 40 seconds that blue is going to start moving. We got phase 4, it's going to be a feed onto Rumblers.
I think for the rest of the teams over there, it's just time to get stuck in, because honestly, all the rest of the teams will be getting a good, solid foothold in the circle.
They're getting these revives.
They're allowed to because everyone else wants to get in. It's as simple as that. A Freak of Freaks eventually will say, you know what, we're miles away from this circle here. We're up against the blue crack on, and the same goes for Detonator. They all have to move in. It's looking at your next fight and not this one in front of you. Do you want the points, or do you want to play for placement? Honestly, I think you should be going for placement this stage in the game. You can already hear in the distance, you do have this fight which is on your screen. W-Click enters Force. They did get pulled up on. W-Click initially holding down, but enters Force are here in numbers.
2 kills for W-Click. 9 total points in 15th position, a crucial fight, and against a very injured OGN enters Force. Kale, Songjang, all that remain. Harold trying to clean this one up. Kale holding the angle, might be able to get this knockdown onto Harold. He continues to jump and peek, but right, Ribbo's got the knockdown with the nade. And well played so far from W-Click as they're defending their compound, but look who's just rocked up. It's Team Liquid. James driving by. Seongjung's actually not here for Enters Force. He's further south of this compound, so it's about to be Team Liquid and W-Click.
They've got to commit to it because this compound is not inside the circle. So they have to go for this because kill them out and then walk through, and then you can maybe try and stay alive afterwards.
They've just rocked up onto the shack of Hikari. Going to be knocked out. Aqua 5's got Overwatch, but that's all he's going to be able to do from the anchor position. Is not a whole lot to save his teammate. And Freaker, though, all of them inside that shack, it doesn't seem like a good idea, and it's certainly not a good idea, but it's at this point, and this is what Miramar can throw in terms of a curveball, is where do you go? As Zoidmate's going to be eliminated by Kendesu and Sun Sister. As you mentioned, Team Liquid, you've got to take this fight with W-Click, then push out of this compound.
One thing you have to appreciate here, they have all 4 players alive. They shouldn't have done. 2 of them were down instantly from the knock that we saw all the way outside the circle. They do have to advance forward. Numbers are with them. Time is not. The problem is once you've done with this, you have to deal with the open road that's in front of you. A Freak of Freaks have been pinned in, so they're taken away from the equation. And then they'll have to move on to SDV.
They've had 1 reprieve. As you mentioned, possibly, Team Liquid should have been down to just 2 players, but they got the revives, and to their credit, they're back up. So now they have the numerical advantage against W-Click. It's a 4 versus 3, but W-Click are the one holding these angles, and James is careful here, but Harold is ready for the hit fire spray. James has got that spidey sense. He feels like he's right next to him, and so he is. Harold's not going to change it. Oh, smart from James, though. Baited out the fire, and James can change his angle. Now they know that W-Click is still around in this compound, as Rybo is going to be knocked down by Jempty. Team Liquid are playing this smart. What did I say? They would slow things down. They're not scared, but now they're playing smarter.
Try and run for cover, but I think he's outstayed his welcome there. One goes round on the flank. Jempty will get the clean up, and this is the problem with this area because there's nowhere else to go. It's essentially a bottleneck. It's a stopgap for now. QM have turned up. W-Click still here in not very little numbers, but it could do enough damage. Samty is forced to turn and face. They'll discontinue the fight that they were currently dealing with. And now they have to face the oncomers that have arrived. So we've had 4 teams so far taking fights here. At the moment, there's just death surrounding them.
Samty spotting, actually, Aqua 5. Not necessarily spotting him, but the truck that's hiding him in front of the shack. QM rocked up. Silzen still hanging around for W-Click. 3 teams all around this compound. Samty spotted by Easy. Gonna get a second one onto Jempty. Yes, he can, but it's actually gonna be Wu Bang. Never mind, they cleaned up. The bees up. The high ground, 2 kills now for Team Liquid. It's certainly a better performance, a better showing from them so far here on Miramar, but is it too little too late? Are they gonna be able to get enough points over these 2 games to get them in the top 8? And then still, as you mentioned, the bottleneck, it's now come to an end. It's now time to move, and they've got a lot of eyes at their location.
Jimbo just got 2 back-to-back. He just knocked 2 in. They can actually push onto this and maybe get some kind of cover. They can work forward. They're already lacking utility. You could see they instantly went for the body boxes of the people they put in the grave, and the reason they did that, they were completely out of smokes.
Oh, Style though. Realizing they were getting pushed on through at the underarm nade, he got Ibby. Ibby was healing rather than pushing. They haven't been able to capitalize. It changes it down to 1 health. He's in the blue. He goes down to Team Liquid. No placement points this game either. They had their chances. It felt like here on Miramar, at least for match 5. They're just not able to capitalize. And in the end, Silzen will also fall in what ended up being pretty much a death trap. That compound, no one came out alive.
The circle has been extremely, extremely unforgiving for anyone who wanted to go the way of the East. H1 decides to kill himself in the vehicle. That one goes up in smoke. K-Mine falls, secondary. And so both of them do. That's a grenade instantly. Nikki says thank you very much. 2 for 1, job done. Genesis also. They do make it into the top 10 at least, but only just 9th position for them. I'm not sure how many kills they get. They're another team that is lingering on the precipice of the Elimination Sunday match, 4 AM.
Sun Sister didn't really, I think they only got 2 points from this game, so they're on 24, sitting in that 8th position. It does give a lot of hope for a lot of other teams that are below them, that they only need single digits, for example, potentially, to make their way into the top 8. As we see Detonator now trying to push on to Lazarus, who have climbed up into the top 5 on 28 points. Seongjang still alive for Enter's Force. Actually spots Aqua 5, lands a tag. Another one might just do enough damage to get the elimination. Purdy Curdy has been spotted as well. Playing this one out for Force.
This is going to be really good for the likes of Crow Crowd, the likes of the Rumblers. When you're down in that 9th to 16th spot.
Sting Divine as well.
So they're in 7th, even still. 23 points. It's risky, but it's going to boost them up and maybe even secure their position in the semi-finals. Lazarus been held dead to rights. They need to remove Aqua 5 from the equation, and then if Purdy Curdy can actually find the kill, we'll keep an eye on the kill feed to see if he does. Otherwise, it will be the return favor, so to speak. It is an all. Aqua 5, another 3 point for Detonator.
He's low health though. Aqua 5 only 24 health, and Luke 12 and Alo are still just north of him. We'll get Purdy Curdy. War and Guru Man just make it into the circle. They're going to be ones to gatekeep Crow Crowd potentially. Microfight to get the knockdown onto Luke 12. Lazarus in a very difficult position now, down to just Alo. So we look at the live replay of the nade that gets K-Mine and H-Win from Nikki. Well, actually, it was just K-Mine. Maybe just not aware of the surroundings to hear that one. Only 2 kills for Rumblers. Not many kills there either for Sting Divine. A case where you're getting these feeds, but it's all the teams that are trying to get in the circle that are killing each other, like we saw before with Liquid and co.
This will be big for Crow Crowd if they can advance forward in the circle, but it's going to be difficult because 4 AM is essentially just holding them, asking for the passports. Border Patrol on the edge of the white.
Lazarus fall on 29 points. Nade just in front of 4 AM, not going to get Xiao Lu.
I suppose for 4 AM, once these smokes have gone.
This is a big game though, as we said. Crow Crowd, Rumblers are going to be in a position where they're going now into the final game, where they only have to probably rely on themselves rather than hoping a team above them has a really poor game. 3 kills for Crow Crowd.
Tixu has gone for an extremely ballsy player, but he is behind 4 AM. The problem is STV know exactly where he is, and there's 4 members up. Teme does fall to the wayside. It's rather unfortunate. Nuki is the last man standing all the way in the north.
Seongjang is still alive for Enter's Force. How has he made it this far? Makes it into the top 4 now as well, as Forever is going to be taken out by Waldo. Rumblers with 4. And I think from here they probably clear out the rest of 4 AM as this game comes to an end for match number 5. 5 seconds from phase number 7. Is there a world where this man comes away with a win?
Oh boy.
Wow.
It's the only way it happens, where the solo snake could win the game. Just let everyone else beat each other to death in the circle.
I just want to point out his location in the hay bale shack. What was the last time we casted together and there was a solo man in there?
Let's not talk about Brazil completely bollocksing it up. We won't go there, Xenox.
Levi's, just be careful what you're doing in that truck.
Oh no, I'm just getting flashbacks now. It's PNC all over again. Oh boy, well, 4EM, they're gonna have a difficult run. They don't have any vehicles and they committed a lot of utility. I saw a lot of smokes previous, so you'd expect the Rumblers, because they're a hop, skip and a jump away from the circle, they'll make the run and basically just farm them for 3 points. I suppose if you want to win this game, though, it's how SDV utilizes this time that they've been given. The Rumblers will be so focused on 4EM.
Gonna throw this? No.
They can move into the circle, get a good read, get a good position, or at least a better position than the Rumblers on the opposing side, and then wait their arrival. The problem is, as you mentioned, the last player from Enter's Force. Can he be the snake in the grass? Can he do damage here to one of these rosters?
In saying that, though, he probably wants to keep his position quiet.
Yeah.
So, in essence, I actually don't know if he's going to be the one to actually cause some damage or get a third party onto either Rumblers or Sting Divine, unless he feels like he's definitely going to get points out of it. There's a nade thrown towards him.
The smokes are up, yeah.
So now he's given. Okay, now he's given away his position.
I saw Turtle's arrow just looking directly at him, so I wondered if he'd put something down just to cause the cover. And those smokes, once they go out again.
The mind games, though, where they might feel like it's actually a member of Rumblers that's being able to get to this position, might mean that Sting Divine make a forceful play to take over that hay bale hut.
So there was 2 ways that the Rumblers could have done this: get inside the circle and really get a better read and a better position on it, or go for the points onto 4EM and come later. They chose the latter stage. They picked up a couple of points here and there, but now it puts them in a predicament where SDV have been allowed to set up. However, Waldo has a decent angle. A bit of damage is done. Nicky is going to overextend on his own. Circle pops towards them. They still got to keep doing the work. If Nicky overextends and gets caught off guard,
it's good as dead.
Could be pretty problematic.
Levi's and Turtle have got the superior position compared to any member of Rumblers. I mean, they're the ones, in my eyes, who've got more work to do, still holding behind this rock. Sting Divine even have vehicles here if they necessarily need to push forward and potentially breach a player like Sung Jang.
Loss of micro, need to get a wriggle on. That blue's going to hurt.
They really need to start trying to make a play here.
Blue is really going to hurt in this circle. Sitting there up against it and slow playing it will not.
They want the knockdown before making the push. The problem is, even if they do push, where do they go to? It's just nothing but open field. Rumblers probably want more than 1 knockdown. They probably want 2 at a time here before they make a desperate push. Microfire is low. That's exactly what happens when you try and make a run for it out of the open. Oh, nice steal though by Song Jang. He's going to pick up Micro Jet with the knockdown onto Cherry Poppin', and it's kind of playing out how I would have expected it here. The nade now. The solo player of Enter's Force to try and pick up more points. Loss is close to it, but not close enough.
Oh, it's smoking. A few bullets and that thing's going up in a ball of flames. Waldo decides to give it up to the grave. They do manage to pick him up, and that should be a GG in my eyes for SDV. They'll find the final few players. They'll tick off the final few points. And Loss HD, the Finn could get the win. He actually gets an individual one, but he's lacking a helmet. Takes the vehicle out. Doesn't get the explosion from any grenades that will be coming his way, because he knows hell is about to be rained down.
He wants to try and flush this to get the confirmed point, and he does. Every point matters. 6 points at least for Rumblers here, but he's finding it very difficult. 3 eyes on him. Oh, 6 health, no health, gone. Rumblers in second at Sting Divine Esports, and a 10-kill win for